When it comes to your health, quality isn't negotiable. That's why I've trusted my supplement dispensary to Fullscript, because every one of their 15,000 supplements is vetted, verified, and held to the highest standards. And now for 4 days only, every single one of those high-quality supplements is on sale. May 18th through 21st, 4 days only. Get 10% off and free shipping on the entire Fullscript inventory. It's the Fullscript signature sale happening May 18th through May 21st. Just go to drhoffmanstore.com, stock up on the supplements I recommend at prices that make it even easier to stay consistent with your wellness routine. We're talking trusted brands, professional-grade formulas, everything in the catalog, no exceptions. You'll find innovative wellness products, too, all chosen for their quality and reliability. Don't leave your health to chance by buying from third-party sellers. Shop my Fullscript online dispensary, where quality always comes first. The Fullscript signature sale, May 18th through 21st at drhoffmanstore.com. That's drhoffmanstore.com. You know that feeling when you wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, when you push through your day running on empty, wondering where your energy went? Here's something most people don't know, that fatigue may actually be happening inside your cells. That's why I've been using anti-factor lipids powder from Nutritional Therapeutics for years. I don't go a day without it. It's based on over 20 years of research and a patented process called membrane lipid replacement, which actually repairs the damaged components of your cell membranes, restoring your cell's ability to produce energy the way they did when you were younger. Clinical studies show anti-factor can reduce fatigue by up to 40%. Just 1 or 2 scoops a day. Mix it in a smoothie like I do, sprinkle it on food, and you're giving your body the science of youthful energy. Anti-Factor Lipids Powder comes in 2 convenient sizes. For more information and to order, just call 800-982-9158, 800-982-9158, or go to antifactor.com. That's antifactor.com for Anti-Factor Lipids Powder. Welcome to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. It's your weekly opportunity to send questions to us, and we'll answer them. Questions at drhoffman.net. Of course, with me today is Leyla Muden, who is our resident nutritionist, and together we field questions. So, how you doing, Leyla? Are you staying cool?
Yes, staying cool. Got the ceiling fans going, got the AC on, and we will get through this. It's only a couple of days. So,
right.
All right, foreshadowing of summer.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, and I kind of hate to date and to talk about the weather and date these podcasts, because occasionally, I go on vacation or you go on vacation and we repeat the podcast. So like in mid-January, we may be talking about this, like how hot it is, but it is 96 degrees here in New York City. This is the week before Memorial Day. But traditionally, here in New York, Memorial Day is cold and rainy. It's just what everybody's like, really. So it's hard to believe, but it's 96 degrees today. Yeah. It will be barely in the 60s over the 3 days of Memorial Day.
And it's going to rain. Yes, it's going to be that.
But this is always how we get burned here in New York. But I've got something special for today's broadcast. I've got my T-shirt, which if you can read it, do you see what it says here?
Look at that. I survived winter 2026.
Yeah, so we're making up for, pretty harsh winter. We're kind of unusual. I've been in New York for 55 years, ever since college. And I can't remember when both the East River and even the Hudson iced up.
Oh my God.
Because we had those prolonged, like single-digit days that just never seemed to end, like unremitting cold. We were in the grips of it. So, well deserved. This, by the way, tip of the hat to Jeff, who is our media manager, for sending me this. It's kind of a gag gift. I found it in my mailbox when I came back from vacation. So before we get to questions, and questions come to questions@drhoffman.net, so please keep sending questions. We'll get around to them eventually. So I had an interesting trip. I actually visited 8 countries. The theme of the trip was Scandinavia and the Baltics. And it was
Wow.
a Viking cruise that
Uh-huh.
took us to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Poland, Lithuania, and
Hmm.
Estonia. And then we took an additional trip to Latvia because
Wow.
we wanted to do a little family history. And
Hmm.
we got a genealogist on board to trace family history to a very small village in Lithuania. We stayed in Riga, Latvia, which is a beautiful city.
Hmm.
All those cities are really wonderful. They have a wonderful history dating back to medieval times. And so
Wow.
there's residual medieval architecture and the ancient city walls and battlements and turrets from a bygone era. And then there's
Hmm.
various types of architecture depending on who was occupying those countries, because it went through the hands of the Germans, the Swedes, the Danes, then
Wow.
the Russians,
Uh-huh.
and so there's a lot of different layers of beautiful architecture in those countries. And some of the places that we visited were destroyed in World War II, extensive damage,
Hmm.
but beautifully reconstructed. For example, Gdansk, Poland, which
Oh.
is a beautiful medieval city, also called Danzig. When the Germans had it, they called it Danzig. It was
Hmm.
actually contested in many different conflicts in World War II.
Hmm.
It was actually one of the precipitants of World War II when the Germans marched on. They claimed this was their property. It was in Poland. It had been awarded to the Poles in World War One, and then it was given to the Germans, given back to the Germans occupied it.
Yeah.
So a very, very interesting trip. The food on the Viking ship was too good. It's
Wow.
too good
Okay.
and the way it was served kind of uh, really pushed back on dietary restraint because we mostly ate in kind of a cafeteria style smorgasbord where
Hmm.
you could just keep going up and up and up and up, sometimes
Oh
with
my
three or four
goodness.
plates of food, so, well, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this. Oh, well, I have a little room for this. Oh, and then there's the pastry section. And then
Yeah.
there was always an ice cream station. And I must
Uh-huh.
admit that, I kind of indulged a little bit. And,
That's
but
what vacation is for.
right. But what counteracted that, apparently, because there was a gym on board the ship, I did some exercise, but I really didn't need to do a lot of extra exercise because every day
Hmm.
we walked well in excess of 10,000 steps every day
Oh,
on these,
wow.
and also on cobblestone streets,
Oh, that's
because many of
hard.
these cities have cobblestone streets. And by cobblestones, I mean like boulders, you know.
Oh, boy.
So it was kind of like an obstacle course. And, I have to say that
Yeah.
I felt kind of sore, from these things unaccustomedly because I trek all over New York City.
Hmm.
But it's different walking in these, old
Yeah.
sections of these ancient cities.
Hmm.
And so there's a thing they do. This is a thing that they do in these Nordic places in Scandinavia. It's Nordic bathing, which is sauna and
Uh-huh.
steam. And I actually witnessed people in Copenhagen and in Oslo. These are seaside cities,
Hmm.
and by the waterfront, they have these what look like little wooden houses, and you can smell wood smoke coming up from them because they
Hmm.
have wood burning saunas there. And so the people are in these saunas, and they come out in their bathing suits, and they jump into the fjord, which is
Uh-huh.
really cold water. And then they climb back up. They
Boy.
go back in the sauna. They go. It's like rinse and repeat. They do this several times. So on board
Wow.
the Viking ship, the Viking ships are Scandinavian themed. It's a Scandinavian, I think, a Norwegian cruise line.
Uh-huh.
They, in addition to having the traditional sauna and steam room, they have these cold plunge pools and like an ice room. And
Uh-huh.
so, I was sore, but I found it was actually it really helped to relieve my soreness to go into the heat, go into the whirlpool, and then dip into the plunge pool and try and
Hmm.
stay for like 5 or 10 minutes. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, actually I made some friends on the boat, and I would challenge them to, like, how long did you stay in? So we actually met in one place. I think it was in Stavanger, Norway, which is the oil capital of Norway, but also a charming town. We had a peppy little guide who was this spry, and she admitted that she was 76 years old. She was very spry, and she, we could barely keep up with her, as she guided us around the town. And she said that one of the things that she does as part of her health regimen is that every day she does a cold plunge, summer or winter. And in winter, it freezes over there so that they cut a hole in the ice and she jumps in the hole in the ice.
Wow. In the ice fishing hole.
Right,
for
right.
instance.
And then goes into the sauna and then, heat, heat, cold. It's very, it stimulates circulation. It's anti-inflammatory. And it helps to resolve muscle soreness. So I found that that's something that kind of kept me going there, because a couple of days, I'd 14, 18,000 steps on cobblestones and going up and down, these steep
That's
hills.
That's a workout in itself.
Yeah. So that was part of it. And then, I actually wrote about this in an article that you can find in our under our newsletter section. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, you get it in your inbox. So I gave kind of an account of, the food, amazing, lots of fish, lots of charcuterie, wonderful cheeses, very, fresh vegetables, really tasty. Breads were amazing. I expended my entire gluten allotment for 2026 in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I just had to. I had to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and the good part, I got back home. I was very apprehensive, and I jumped on the scale. With a lot of trepidation, and lo and behold, my weight had not changed.
There you go. See,
but I think
18,000 steps a day.
I think it was from the walking, but also the mental stimulation. I think when you're traveling, you kind of go into overdrive. Your brain is kind of lighting up with the new experiences and sensations. I took a couple of bike rides there too, so I had some exercise.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, good experience. I can. There's
Wonderful.
More that I can recount, and you can read about it in our newsletter. And I try to take a health perspective, because it's not just a travel log. It's obviously television medicine about health and nutrition and things related, lifestyle. Also, we talk about the healthcare system over there. Most people socialize medicine.
Yeah.
People get healthcare very inexpensively there. Drugs are very inexpensive. Healthcare is very inexpensive. But they pay about half their income in taxes.
That's true.
But they're mostly happy with it, except, say you want to get hip replacement or a knee replacement. You go on a waiting list. It could be months or a year and a half before you get it. You have to get in line for. So it's different. And these are, it's a different kind of social contract there. Most of those countries, people are pretty happy with it. Yeah. Although Sweden recently enacted some, it was very, very socialistic at one point. And they were paying like 80, 90% of their money in taxes, the people who were affluent. And they changed that. And they also cut back on entitlements. And they also are now putting some restrictions on immigration, because that became a problem, because it's it was a very homogeneous population. All of a sudden, a big influx of people of different cultures, and, it overwhelmed their social fabric. So Sweden is kind of backing a little bit away from that. But Denmark, happiest country in the world, according to, we have like the gross national product or the GDP or whatever.
Yes.
They have the gross happiness scale that it ranks Denmark highest in the world.
Wow.
Which is interesting. Considering that they have like 5 hours of daylight in the winter.
I know. A lot of those. Norway has often won happiest country in the world. It's like so dark.
Well, here's the thing about Norway. Norway used to be a very poor country, but they struck oil in the 60s and 70s. And they make a ton of money with their oil. And so they set up wisely a sovereign fund to support the country and to support an ongoing legacy, because they know eventually the oil's going to run out. It's like, it may take another 25 or 50 years, but the oil will run out. But they will have this big sovereign fund to help support the country. Because Norway used to be kind of dirt poor. They mostly was fishing and logging, but then they struck oil. So it's like a huge prosperity boom that they've had since oil came into the picture there.
Wow. So Denmark is now the happiest country.
Denmark is another happiest country.
Oh my
Denmark,
gosh.
the makers of Ozempic.
Novo
Nordisk is headquartered in Denmark.
Okay.
Interestingly, their obesity rate is in the teens.
Not like
so
here.
they export these drugs. They don't need them as much as we do. Our obesity rate about 40%. So
yeah. Sadly, but good for Denmark on both fronts. On both fronts. More and more people are getting on Ozempic. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful, Dr. Hoffman. I'm wondering, before we get into questions, if this might be a good time to hear from one of our sponsors. What do you think?
Well, absolutely, because I kind of forgot the routine I've been gone for a couple of weeks. So,
right.
All right. So let's give a tip of the hat to our sponsors and allow our listeners to hear a message. So here it goes. Listen up.
Are you ready to experience the future of digestive wellness with Dr. Ohhira's new and revolutionary postbiotic fermented food concentrate? Capsule-free and in individual sachet packets that harness the power of 5 years of fermentation and over 500 concentrated bioactive postbiotics. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate is a nutrient-dense paste designed to supercharge your digestive health, aid in nutrient absorption, and support whole body immune wellness. Each sachet packet delivers a potent blend of fermented paste and prebiotics which serve as fuel for your body's own unique gut microbiome. This concentrate supports your entire digestive tract, does not need refrigeration, non-GMO, dairy, and gluten-free. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate. It is the ultimate embodiment of traditional Japanese fermented craftsmanship, designed for those who seek the highest concentration of nature's restorative power in every serving. Ask your natural products retailer for it today or online at essentialformulas.com.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. They are what make intelligent medicine a continuing a resource. And I got to tell you something funny that happened. Is like I was on the boat in the middle of the Baltic and we were sailing. We were far from land, and I got an urgent email from our producer saying, "Hey, I hate to do this to you, but we have to cut a commercial. We have to cut a commercial because this is like the sale for Full Script, and it's a timely thing. And I'm sorry, most of these other things they could wait, but can you possibly do this?" So what I did was, I found myself a quiet place on the ship. And I sat there with my iPhone and I talked into the iPhone.
Yep.
And I recorded it. And I thought, and people were coming by and they were saying, "Hi." And I said, don't, I'm recording a commercial, excuse me. And so they thought I was nuts. I was talking to my, self. And I recorded this and they said, "Well, don't worry about the sound quality. We'll fix it up. We'll put in filters or whatever, like that." I heard the commercial when I got back. It sounded perfect. It sounded like I was in the studio,
Yeah.
This
sounds engineering.
And we were on a Wi-Fi, miles from land.
Yeah.
It was crazy that worked.
Terrific. Oh, technology. Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's get on to questions here. We've got an email here from Richard. He asks, "I've recently heard that all members of the nightshade family should be avoided in my diet. For many years, I've grown my own tomatoes during the months of July through September. Our lunches and dinners have mostly consisted of sliced, tomato sandwiches, some slices of tomato, and of course, some source of protein along with that. We seldom eat tomatoes the rest of the year though. But we do eat peppers, onions. We might use paprika and cayenne
Hmm.
in our cooking. Should we rethink these favorites and avoid nightshade family members as much as possible?
Well, I'll put it to you, Leyla, because, you work with a lot of patients, particularly if this is a concern when patients have arthritis.
Yes.
And has it
Yes.
been your experience that, often we say to patients who have arthritis, want to try eliminating nightshades?
Yep.
And what has been your experiences? What percentage of people seem to respond to that?
I would say a fair percentage, but amongst those who are really eating a lot of nightshades, I'm not talking about people eating eggplants all the time. I'm talking about the tomato lovers, the hot sauce lovers, the frequent paprika and cayenne users, all that, certainly white potatoes as well. So that's something. I've seen great success with those who avoided nightshades, but when they did it properly, not just for 2 weeks, but for 2 to 3 months.
Right. It's not
And
instantaneous. Yeah.
it's not instantaneous, and not even a smidgen, not even a quarter teaspoon in your soup or as when you're cooking your stock or anything, or kind of searing your meats, your vegetables, and you're adding some tomato paste. You're not doing even that. None of it. None of it. And especially with arthritis, and especially rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
And we even go this far, even with very debilitating autoimmune, not just rheumatoid arthritis, but maybe lupus,
Yeah.
multiple sclerosis. We go all the way and cut out the nightshades, because I don't want anyone eating anything that might possibly cause any inflammation
Hmm.
or any problem. And it's worth giving up.
Yeah.
There's certainly no harm in not eating the
Yeah,
nightshade
it's
family
just some
vegetables.
deprivation. I mean, there are some nutrients
Exactly.
that are concentrated in tomatoes, like lycopene, for example, but you can
Yeah.
get lycopene from other sources.
Yes.
Like watermelon has
Watermelon,
lycopene. Yeah.
grapefruit has lycopene.
The
Sure.
pink
Sure.
kind.
The pink.
So
Mhm.
what this is all based on is the experience of farmers who had cattle that foraged on nightshade plants. I don't know if they were tomato plants or, some
Yeah.
plants that were in the nightshade family. And the cattle developed a specific type of bovine arthritis. And
Yeah.
it was thought that this was the cause, and getting them off that helped. And
Mhm.
then this was extrapolated to humans. And I think it's a kind of a percentage thing. It's like, I think a minority of people respond to that, but a significant
Mhm.
percentage of people respond to a nightshade-free diet if you have arthritis.
Yeah.
So it's worth a trial of that if you have arthritis, and see if it helps, because, try it. You might like it. You might think
Exactly.
the results are worth the deprivation.
Yeah. 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 I'll give other examples. I know of a handful of women who suffer from osteoarthritis, not necessarily rheumatoid,
Mm-hmm.
who have avoided nightshades for decades. But then inadvertently, somebody would go to lunch and a little tomato something or
Yeah.
other would slip in here and there, and they would feel it
Right.
like within hours later, the inflammation coming back, saying to their knuckles and to their hands, for
Well,
example.
that's a good way to
Yeah.
verify that that's something going on, is to
Exactly.
do a challenge.
It's to
If
do a
you feel
challenge.
better, fine. It may be a coincidence, but then do a
Yeah.
challenge. Have
Mhm.
like tomato bisque, or have pasta with tomato sauce, or some concentrate
Exactly.
of tomato,
Exactly.
or another form of nightshade.
Sure. And then the thing is, once that the arthritis comes back, it doesn't go away,
Right away.
just a couple of days later after you've stopped
It
eating the
flares.
thing or it's out of your body. It could take several weeks.
Yeah.
That's to really subside and be gone
Yeah.
once again. So I have people
But
that
so
absolutely
I would say
swear by
that the
it.
bottom line is a
What
rule. I don't
it's-
think that everybody should avoid nightshades.
No,
Do
not
you
at all.
realize that in the history of the tomato, I think tomatoes were introduced from Southeast Asia, if I'm not mistaken, and they were introduced, kind of, I guess, in the Middle Ages into Europe, and even until fairly recent times, colonial times, there was great controversy about whether tomatoes were toxic, whether they were dangerous to eat.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
I mean,
And I
they were thought
suppose-
to be potentially poisonous. They were so exotic that they thought to.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Just like with potatoes, there's small bits of cyanide in the skin, little bits, but plants develop some poisons to keep predators at bay. So,
Right. And
yeah.
that whole theory is enunciated to the max in a book called The Plant Paradox, which I don't entirely agree with, but there is a
Mhm.
point that there are certain compounds within plants that are
Yeah.
basically there to prevent animals from devouring the plants.
Yes.
Uh,
Or to make it very hard to digest.
yeah,
Yeah. Which has its own problems in causing leaky gut or other inflammation and other GI upsets
defensive
as well.
compounds. Yeah,
hmm hmm So it is something, and often in very advanced cases of any kind of inflammatory disease or autoimmune disease or intractable conditions like that, it's worth giving up the nightshades to see if it doesn't make a difference. Besides the usual suspects of food allergens, gluten, dairy, casein,
yeah,
particular cow's milk casein in particular, things like that, it's worth it doing an elimination diet.
yeah.
It's
Often
amazing
part of
how some people
a
come away.
very
Yeah.
uh, a very clean paleo diet
Yeah.
is eliminating
hmm
the all the modern foods, but also eliminating the nightshades. So what that
Yeah.
leaves you with is fish, chicken, eggs, meat,
hmm
and also certain vegetables, but not necessarily potatoes and not necessarily tomatoes in the family there.
Right, right, right. And the peppers and the eggplant and so forth. Yeah. So, yeah, Richard, if you're having any kind of arthritic symptoms, it could be in your best interest to give it a try. Really give it up for a total of 3 months. Not even a drop, not even a smidgen, nothing at all. And see what happens at the end of
hmm
that.
hmm
See what happens. And let us know because we're interested. You can email us at
Yeah,
questions
absolutely.
at
We would
drhoffman.net.
love to get some feedback on that
Mm-hmm.
little science fair project.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We've got an email from Julia about reverse osmosis water. Wishing this wasn't an issue to talk about, but the never-ending question about the best way to clean up our water, especially our drinking water. A friend stated that she suffered increased acid reflux after she made the switch to reverse osmosis filtration. Perhaps adding minerals or possibly it needs a more thorough cleaning. When you do have an RO filtration system, you do need to stay on top of cleaning of it. Um,
Is it
maybe,
possible that there's not
yeah,
enough minerals in the water that there? I mean, I know that distillation,
yeah,
you're going to basically get water without minerals,
mhm,
and
that's true.
the minerals tend to be alkaline in nature
hmm
and may have the effect of raising the pH.
Yeah,
So raised pH is more alkaline, lower pH is more acid. Maybe the
yes,
pH has changed and that somehow, I don't know, is affecting you in some way. Is there a
right.
contaminant? It's unclear. It kind of sucks because after spending $800 for a sophisticated reverse
Yeah,
osmosis system, you now have
yeah,
heartburn.
right, right. So make sure that she's cleaning it up properly, adding the minerals or checking the amount of minerals she's adding back in. Maybe that's a problem. It's not the
Hmm.
correct amount of minerals. That could be something as well. So, but reverse osmosis is said to be the gold standard
Yeah.
in any kind of water purification system. So that
hmm
is something. Okay. Julia, thank you for that. Oh, we've got an email question about peptide therapy from Martin. Dear Dr. Hoffman, I'd like your take on peptide therapy for my wife. She had a serious bike accident 2 years ago and since has fibromyalgia that she's been struggling with. Her doctors tried everything over the past 2 years, but last week suggested she should consider peptides BPC 157 and TB 500 from a compounding pharmacy. The problem is that all the compounding pharmacies in our hometown in California don't provide those two peptides.
Hmm.
Is there any idea where we would be able to get
Yeah.
these particular two peptides? And they're in Murrieta,
Yeah.
California. Yeah.
The Murrieta is a beautiful place. It's where my parents used to take me when I was a little kid. And they have hot springs there and mud baths.
Oh, wow.
And one of my earliest memories is of the smell of the mud baths. And my parents would happily jump into these tubs of mud for like this rejuvenating treatment at Murrieta Hot Springs. It's a traditional mud bath hot springs locale in California. Okay, so there's a big question. And, our time is drawing to a close for part one. So can we open up part two
Absolutely.
of today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast Q&A with Leyla with a discussion about peptides when we return? I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman today with Leyla Mutin because it's our weekly Q&A with Leyla. This is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast.